Now, the Rockin' Razorbacks New Year's Eve Special, sponsored by Skin Ease and UAMS Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
The Razorbacks are going bowling.
This is our national championship.
It's the team's first bowl game since 2016.
We made no bones about it. We wanted to come to Tampa and Outback Bowl.
Taking on Penn State in the Outback Bowl.
I've definitely enjoyed my first bowl experience, and we're thankful that we're here.
Arkansas's first time in the Outback Bowl, hoping to take a win back to the natural state.
Whoever wants to call the Hogs with me, let's call the Hogs. Y'all ready? All right, here we go. Ooh.
Some key players will make it happen.
We definitely want to play. We're definitely preparing to play.
As will the fans who made the trip to cheer on the Hogs. But it's not all about the competition on the field.
I want everybody to know I have such a great respect for Coach Franklin, and he and I have had some really good conversations over the last 2 times we were able to get together, and I have great respect for Penn State University. I think the fun and the practice and the meetings and all that can be put together.
Kind of scared me a little bit, not gonna lie.
In this hour-long special, we preview tomorrow's game and how the Razorbacks got to this point. Happy New Year's Eve, everybody, and welcome into our Rocking Razorback special, live here from the happiest place on earth. No, not Disney World, anywhere Razorback football is happening. I'm Jacob SEUS, he's Jonathan ACOSTA, and over the next hour, we're going to preview tomorrow's Outback Bowl between 7-5 Penn State and 8-4 Arkansas.
That's right, Jacob, and this isn't the weather we're typically used to on New Year's Eve, but I think no one could ask for better weather for this week and for the Outback Bowl between Arkansas and Penn State. Really, it's a game that should be really competitive, one of the best bowl games of bowl season. 2 teams that have spent plenty of time in the top 25 this year, and 2 teams that have never faced off against each other, so a lot to look forward to.
Last time we saw Arkansas on the football field, late November, they knocked off MIZZOU for their first win over the Tigers in quite some time. Now they're going to take that momentum into a bowl game against a good Penn State team who has a 7-5 record, but that record, Jonathan, it's a bit deceiving. Penn State, like Arkansas, had one of the hardest schedules in the country, going up against top 10 teams on a weekly basis, and the Hogs will certainly have their hands full tomorrow.
That's right. Throughout the season, we mentioned that Arkansas had a brutal schedule, the toughest schedule in the country, going up against teams like Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia. But you mentioned Penn State. They also played some very high-quality teams, Michigan State, Michigan, Ohio State. So this is really a battle between 2 very big programs, and Arkansas is treating it as such. In fact, we caught up with Grant Morgan earlier in the week, and he said that this is about as big of a game as he will have played in his time at Arkansas.
This is our national championship because this is the biggest game Arkansas has been to in any of our careers of being here. Coach Pittman's second year being head coach. This is his national championship. And realistically, this is the way we've played all year. Is we care about the game where we have the opportunity of playing, so this is our only game we care about. Heck, this is the biggest game I've ever played in.
Here is your what, where, and why. What? The Outback Bowl, where Raymond James Stadium, home of the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And why? Well, because Arkansas football was good this year, and now they're headed to their best bowl game in at least over a decade. You go to the Outback Bowl, you did something right this season, and that's exactly what Sam Pittman and his Razorbacks have done over the course of the last 4 months, really making headwaves in the college football world. But when they face Penn State tomorrow, one of the toughest tests will be Penn State quarterback Sean Clifford, one of the best quarterbacks this Arkansas defense is going to have seen all season long.
That's right. When these teams kick it off at 11 a.m. on ESPN2 from Raymond James Stadium, Arkansas will be playing against one of the best quarterbacks that they have seen. They've gone up against Matt Corral, Bryce Young. Sean Clifford has more experience than all of those guys. And if it feels like Sean Clifford has been in Happy Valley for a while, it's because he has. He's been the starter since 2019, a ton of experience, and with that, he makes very good decisions. This year, he had a 20 touchdown to 6 interception ratio, which means that he kind of keeps this Penn State offense kind of on schedule, ahead of the chains, and that's very valuable for a team like the Nittany Lions.
Absolutely, and he is top 5 in nearly every category in the Big Ten. But Arkansas, they've gone up against some big quarterbacks this year. You think Matt Corral, Bryce Young, Bo Nix. So when we talked to the Arkansas defense earlier this week, they know the challenge that lies ahead with Sean Clifford.
Just giving him different looks, not giving him the same looks, not showing them where we in, and he just make good decisions. So like any other quarterback, but he make good decisions, and you got good receivers. They got a good offense. They like to run the ball, pass the ball. So he just make good decisions, and know where to get the ball at.
You can see it on film that he's an experienced quarterback. And for us, like the defense end, we just got to contain him because he's good at like extending plays, getting outside the pocket and extending plays. For us, it's going to be a huge emphasis on like kind of containing him.
Jacob, we've seen a lot of Razorback fans already this week, especially yesterday in Clearwater Beach. But we want to see how some of the fans back home are celebrating. So fans back home, text the number on your screen. We want to see how you're celebrating today, how you're going to be celebrating tomorrow. Show us how you're going to be decked out in your Razorback gear. You can be calling the Hogs, giving your best whoop pig suey. We want to see all of it.
And when you're speaking of Razorback pride, one of the first men that comes to mind, that would be John Daly. Wherever he goes, you think of Arkansas, and that's exactly what he was this week. Daly, he's actually from Tampa, so this bowl game worked out perfect for him. He showed up at practice all week, hanging out with Sam Pittman, hanging out with Hunter Yurachek. John Daly actually has his own pizza here, Jonathan, and him and Hunter Yurachek, they made it for the team last night. So quite the experience for these guys to be able to hang out with a golf legend and, of course, an Arkansas legend in the process.
And it's been quite the couple of weeks for John Daly. You know, just I think 2 weeks ago, he won that PNC championship with his son, John Daly II, who's also a Razorback, a current freshman on the Razorback golf team. So a lot of good things happening in the John Daly family.
So now let's take a look at the history of Arkansas in bowl games. It's been a while. They haven't won a bowl game since 2014. They haven't been in one since 2016. We're not going to count last year in that whole Texas Bowl fiasco, even though Arkansas did earn the right to play in a bowl game. But with last year in the past, in total since 1934, the Hogs have competed in 42 bowl games. Of those, they have 15 wins and 3 ties. No one likes a tie. Hopefully we don't see that this year. Fun fact, we won't. But the interesting fact here for you, Arkansas, they've never beat a Big Ten team in a bowl game, so going up Penn State, it's going to be a big challenge for them.
Right, and that's been one of the storylines this week with Arkansas, and never being a Big Ten team in a bowl game, the lack of their success in Florida bowl games. You know, you have big game, outside of the New Year's Six, some of the biggest bowl games in the country are in Florida. You have the Citrus Bowl, the Gator Bowl, the Outback Bowl. So Arkansas kind of wants to shed that narrative and show that they can have success here in the Outback Bowl.
And when it comes to the Outback Bowl, there are a lot of big names, Jonathan, that have played their last college game on this field.
That's right. Over 1,000 players have gone on to the NFL, including 183 currently on rosters this season. Of those, 112 have been first-round draft picks. 26 different schools have actually gone on and played in the Outback Bowl.
And aside from outstanding athletes, the Outback Bowl, they're making a difference. As of last January, the bowl surpassed $155 million contributed to universities. That's a lot of money. It also creates a tremendous economic impact right here in the Tampa Bay region area, and the game has created an estimated $1.1 billion impact since it started. So the Outback Bowl, a great bowl game, one of the premier in all of college football, and also doing great for the area it represents.
That's right. We're seeing a lot of money behind us with these yachts back here. Nothing compared to the kind of money that the Outback Bowl is generating for the Tampa Bay region.
Yes, it's still coming up. We're going to hear from James Franklin and everything you need to know between Sam Pittman and Franklin when they met just earlier this week.
Well, I think it starts with their quarterback.
That and more when our Rockin' Razorback special rolls on here from downtown Tampa.
Five News Road to the Outback returns after this.
Welcome back into our Rockin' Razorbacks New Year's Eve special. The Razorbacks, they're ringing in 2022 with a bang here at the Outback Bowl. For a lot of teams, they thought they'd be doing the same this college football bowl season, but COVID, the last couple weeks, has gotten in the way. We've seen 5 bowl games canceled, and for the Razorbacks in Penn State, that's certainly something they've been watching this week.
That's right, and 2 of the bowl games that you saw played out here today, they were also impacted by COVID. Out in the Gator Bowl, Rutgers replacing Texas A&M, and then the Sun Bowl, which you just watched here on CBS, they had a mix-up taking a team from the Arizona Bowl to replace Miami. So COVID is impacting bowl games all around the country, but Arkansas and the Razorbacks and Coach Pittman, they want to get this game played. Here's what he had to say.
I believe the only way that you can get better is to play the game. We've got 110 that can play, and I believe it seems like Penn State feels the same way. I don't want to speak for Coach Franklin, but if there's any way at all that we can play the game, we should play the game. We owe it to our kids and our fans and our state, and so that's what we're going to do.
Now, Jacob, Penn State is going to be playing in this game, but they're going to be very thin at the linebacker position. Penn State has been hit by COVID, they've been hit by opt-outs, and one of the key positions for this team that truly was one of their strengths throughout the entire Big Ten season might turn into one of their weaknesses against Arkansas.
Yeah, Arkansas run game, they're looking to have one of their best games of the season on Saturday. You think Dominique Johnson, senior Traylon Smith, even freshman Rocket Sanders, these guys are expecting to go out and have their best game of the season, and they weren't shy to talk about that. When we spoke with Rocket Sanders earlier in the week and Dominique Johnson, they told us that they want to have the highest amount of rushing yards ever in the Outback Bowl. That obviously got a chuckle from us in the media, but that's something they actually believe that they can do. And when we talk to them, James Franklin, he knows that this Arkansas run game is going to be an issue heading into Saturday, especially from quarterback KJ Jefferson.
I think it starts with their quarterback, right? You know, big, physical, mature guy. I think they do a really nice job of, you know, obviously not only from a tempo standpoint, but to me, it starts and ends with the running game. When you have that type of quarterback, you got to manage it during the season. But when you get to the bowl game, and this is the last game of the year, we're expecting them to run that 245-pound quarterback a bunch.
And these opt-outs are something that is pretty new to college football the last couple years, and it's certainly just grown. Guys looking to go to the NFL, and you can't blame them. They don't want to get hurt. But also, these teams going into a bowl game after they played all year, they're losing some key players, and that's certainly going to affect the game tomorrow.
And it makes you realize how new all this stuff is. When James Franklin, he's been a coach for a while, he was telling us at his presser this week that in his 12 years of head coaching, he's never had anyone opt out of a bowl game before. So it's something new for Arkansas, something new for Penn State. Both of them affected with big-name guys opting out. For Arkansas, wide receiver Traylon Burks, Penn State's best wide receiver, Jahan Dotson, also opting out for the draft. And it's something that the coaches said that they kind of bonded over. They talked about things that have been impacting college football this season through bowl season, and something that they both talked about at their press conference this week.
If we played in a regular season, the teams would be different. I mean, they're just different because we've had a couple of NFL leaving for the NFL. He's had several over there.
You got to find a way to get it done. You know, as one door closes, another door opens, and it's an opportunity for another player. And I think it's also going to give us a really good kind of picture of what our future is going to be. It's going to be guys that are going to get a bunch of reps in this game that maybe hadn't in you know, throughout the season.
And tomorrow, many seniors will be playing in their final game as a Razorback, including Greenwood native Grant Morgan.
That's right. Coming up after the break, we're going to hear from one of the heart and souls of the Arkansas defense on playing his last game as a Razorback. Plus, we're going to hear from his family who have come out all the way to Tampa to cheer on their son.
As much fun as we've had this week at the Outback Bowl, we've also had players recognize that it's the last time this team is going to be together. They've obviously grown such a great bond, but you're losing seniors like Blake Kern, Traylon Smith, Bumper Poole, guys that do have the option to potentially come back next year, but there's also guys that don't, a special one, Grant Morgan, the Greenwood native.
That's right. That whole linebacking core is going to be their last time playing together, and you can't say enough about all three of them. They've all been some of the heart and souls of this Arkansas defense, especially Grant Morgan. You know, went to Greenwood, then comes to Arkansas. He finally gets that Burlsworth trophy this year for the nation's best walk-on. He's just been so important for this Arkansas team. And Tampa, it's a city of champions. Tom Brady won a Super Bowl here last year. Grant Morgan wants to make sure that he ends his Arkansas career in the same way. This is what he had to say.
To be able to do it at Tampa Bay, where they hosted a Super Bowl last year before, so it's pretty cool to be able to be here and be able to play where great players play, and so to be able to play in the Outback Bowl, to come from no bowls at all, and then you jump to a big bowl like this on New Year's Day, like it's an amazing feeling.
So now we're lucky enough to be joined by the Morgan family, Matt and Annie, Drew Morgan's parents, and of course Drew Morgan. You know him, coach at Elkins now. Guys, you got to Tampa this morning. How excited are you for the game tomorrow?
I'm so super excited. It's going to be great weather. Everything's going to be great. There's a lot of people at all the hotels and around the restaurants that we're so excited. There's just a lot of excitement around here.
Yeah, we're pumped. It's the last game. What do you expect? You know, Tampa, it's beautiful.
You can tell by the beard.
What have you guys thought of the city so far? I mean, it's like pretty bad weather compared to Fayetteville, right?
Terrible. Miserable. It's beautiful. You can't beat it.
We're in shorts, you know? It's awesome. It's great, so we're excited.
Drew, you've done this bowl experience before. Just what's this week like for a player, and has it been fun to watch your brother go through it?
Yeah, it is. I know his freshman year he went through it once, and then knowing that he gets to play in this one is pretty exciting. You want to try and keep yourself locked in and stay focused. But in the same essence, have fun. Have fun. Enjoy it. You deserve it. You've earned it, and take everything with one little step at a time, because you blink and it's gone.
And what are the emotions going to be for you guys? You know, Grant's a local, goes to Greenwood, wins the Burlsworth Trophy, and knowing that this is his last game in a Razorback jersey, just what are the emotions going to be for you guys?
I'll let the parents speak to that one.
Very emotional. We thought the last game was emotional, but I think tomorrow's going to be one of those. But it's not the ending; it's just a next step, a next beginning. So
yeah, we're excited for him. He's worked really hard. It's a great way to cap off his whole career in Arkansas, and to be able to be here and enjoy it and go out with a great win. Hopefully tomorrow will be good.
Well, I know Arkansas fans are certainly thankful for Grant and, of course, Drew in the Razorback Red. But thank you guys for joining us, and enjoy the game, and hopefully we'll see some more from Grant in the future.
Thank you.
all right, thank you.
Go Hogs.
Thank you, guys. And then coming up after the break, Grant's been responsible for a lot of great moments. We're going to take a look back at some of the best moments in this season for the Arkansas Razorbacks. That's coming up after the break.
This season, Arkansas quarterback KJ Jefferson has established himself as one of the very best quarterbacks in the SEC. You look at the Rice game, when fans were actually calling for Malik Hornsby at halftime, to now Jefferson, what he's been able to do this season, it's been quite the turnaround.
I know, it's been quite the turnaround after, I think there was a writer out there that ranked him 14th among SEC quarterbacks in the preseason. I don't think he's ranked there anymore. He's definitely had quite the turnaround. In fact, I feel like he's one of the players that you feel most confident in, that he's going to step up and deliver each week, week in and week out. He has a tough task against Penn State, but he's been enjoying the bowl week festivities this week. We saw him at Busch Gardens. We saw him out at the beach having a fun time. This is what we had to say about just how he's been enjoying the bowl week festivities.
Yes, overall, just soaking it all in. I mean, just the environment, the people here, the hotel we staying in, all of it is nice. They got a nice setup for us and stuff. So I'm just really soaking it all in, just taking pictures, recording everything, so I can get home, show my family and everything. So I mean, I'm just soaking it all in.
And we're just getting started here on the Rockin' Razorbacks New Year's Eve special. When we return, a lot more, so stick with us here as we preview the Outback Bowl.
5 News Road to the Outback returns after this.
This season was one of the best in Arkansas football program history, so of course there were good moments pretty much every week. So Jonathan and I tried to narrow it down to the top 5. It was hard, but let's take a look at our top 5 best moments of this Arkansas football season. We're going to start with number 5, and that was the last game. Arkansas-MIZZOU. They needed to break their battle line rivalry streak, and they did it in fashion in front of a sold-out crowd at Razorback Stadium to end the season. They went out and dominated the second half against the Tigers. Traylon Burks, it was his last game as an Arkansas wide receiver. He balled out. KJ Jefferson did his thing. The defense did their thing. It was a party at Razorback Stadium, and they got that big win. So that is number 5. So now we're going to move on to number 4, which was also a fun one.
That's right, number 4, and despite it being a loss, you could say it was one of the most impressive performances from Arkansas throughout the entire season. They go to Tuscaloosa and hang in there every step of the way with the team that's currently the number 1 team in the college football playoff. The most memorable play from that game has to be that fake field goal, the pass to Blake Kern. He catches it one-handed and then keeps the play alive, scores that touchdown. That really kept Arkansas in this game, and despite the loss, I think the Razorbacks really gained a lot of respect nationwide after that performance.
They absolutely did. And number 3 was one of my favorite games of the season. We're going to head to Dallas for the Southwest Classic against Texas A&M. I think this was the moment for Razorback fans where we all took a step back and said, Okay, this team is good, and this play right here, Traylon Burks from KJ Jefferson, you could see this here. Burks, an explosive wide receiver, and Jefferson, his first year as a starter, making the plays that he needed to in Arkansas, went down to Arlington, got the win over Texas A&M, moved to 4-0 on the season, entered the top 25. It was just an overall special moment for this team, and that was a special play that helped get the win.
And then now on to number 2, and it's another win that the Razorbacks had away from Fayetteville. In fact, they went into Baton Rouge, down into the Bayou, and beat those arch rival LSU Tigers, thanks in large part to the performance of Cam Little. He was huge. Hit 3 field goals, including that game winner from over 40 yards out as time expired to take down those Tigers 16-13 and claim that second trophy on the season.
And of course, number 1, we don't have to tell you, you know what it is. By far the best game of the season against Texas. The Longhorns come into Fayetteville, and Arkansas says, all right, welcome to the SEC. Razorback fans, they all went on the field. It felt like a sigh of relief after so much hardship, so much loss, disappointment the last 5 years for this football team. Against Texas, it was a coming-of-age moment for this team to say, all right, we're Arkansas football, we're back, and you know what? We're good again.
That's right. It's been a huge season for Arkansas Razorback football. They have 3 trophies. They look to add a 4th one this season on January 1st.
Yeah, absolutely. And we also had a lot of fun this week off the field. And when we return, we are going to take you to Busch Gardens for all the fun Arkansas had this week, riding roller coasters, and a couple guys who maybe were a little scared.
That's right. And there was no one scared at the beach. They were all having a lot of fun. We'll also take you to Clearwater, where we got to see the players interacting with fans and family. That's coming up after the break.
Have you ever wanted to see your favorite Arkansas football player maybe scared out of their minds, riding a roller coaster, completely out of your element? Well, that's what happened at Busch Gardens this week. And 5 News Sports reporter Ian Taylor took it all in from the sights and sounds of the Hogs riding the roller coasters.
When we caught up with the Razorbacks, Grant Morgan was busy getting KJ Jefferson ready to ride the tallest ride in the park. At 325 feet high, the Falcons' Fury even rattled the Burlsworth Trophy winner.
Kind of scared me a little bit, not gonna lie. The worst part was going upwards while you were facing down that last like 10 feet. It felt like you were just suspended over however high it is. It was scary, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
After checking on KJ's heart, the team went on a safari for an up-close and personal encounter.
That was my first time coming that close to a giraffe, and then, feeding them was like even more better.
The Razorbacks have had chemistry all season long, and Busch Gardens should help the team grow even more heading into Saturday.
As long as they can plan their day, and I want it to have success the whole day, I think the fun and the practice and the meetings and all that can be put together.
And then coming up after the break, we're going to catch up with the CBS Sports college football writer as he breaks down the Outback Bowl matchup and what the national perception is of these Arkansas Razorbacks. That's coming up after the break.
5 News Road to the Outback returns after this.
You saw the Hogs at Busch Gardens. Well, how about the next day when they made their way to the beach, interacting with fans left and right? Our guy Ian Taylor, he was all over the place this week. He brings you the sights and sounds from Beach Day.
We're going to have fun, and we're going to enjoy our time here.
If there is ever a bigger understatement, it is how much fun the Razorbacks had while out at Clearwater Beach. The Hogs came ready to enjoy Beach Day with teammates and fans.
Man, it's fun out here. It's good vibes. We got all the Arkansas fans out here, teammates, all the owners and stuff, man. It's just a great time, man. Great weather at the beach. Couldn't be happier.
Man, it's super humbling just to know that this many people cares about us as a football team and, a university. So, I mean, if you take a look at how many Arkansas fans are, I haven't seen much Penn State fans, but I've seen a ton of Arkansas fans. So that's always nice to, interact and get a personal relationship with some of them.
Players weren't the only ones enjoying the day. One student even got to check an item off her bucket list, meeting her favorite coach.
It was so fun. I was so excited. I didn't think he would actually take a picture, but then he did. So now I'm like shaking. I'm like all excited and stuff.
Growing up in a Penn State family, Kelly Paccio is proud to be rocking her Cardinal red this weekend and all year long.
Someone said I would really like it, and I didn't believe them, and then I looked into it and I liked it, and then I went on a tour there, and here I am.
Arkansas fans packed the beach, getting time up close and personal with some of their favorite players, and even were treated to an appearance from the best in sight and sound.
My favorite part was just getting to play for our fans when we got here at the beach this afternoon, and then also we had a practice this morning, and we had quite a few Razorback fans show up to the practice and watch us play.
As beach day came to a close, 2 young fans left with memories to last a lifetime and a final score prediction Razorback fans would love to see.
1,000-1.
I like it. That's a great story there for me. And we also got the chance and lead up to this game to sit down with CBS Sports college football writer Shehan Jayaraja to break down this matchup for Arkansas and to talk about the rise of the Razorbacks under Sam Pittman.
We'll start off with your initial impressions when the bowl games were announced and you see the matchup in the Outback Bowl, Arkansas versus Penn State. What were kind of some of the initial reactions for you?
Yeah, I think this is a really good matchup. This was a team that for a lot of the year was in the top 25, the top 15, and Penn State, similar sort of deal. I mean, their record is very deceiving. They are much better than a 7-5 team. So I think that this is one of the more underrated matchups of bowl season, honestly, and I think it'll be a great test for both teams. And really for Arkansas and Penn State, I think it's an opportunity to kind of head into 2022 with a win and also with some momentum.
What's kind of your sense of where Clifford's at and how much of a threat he poses to the Arkansas defense in this one?
Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of their struggles later in the year had to do with Sean Clifford suffering an injury. I mean, we saw him really develop in a lot of ways early in the year, and he was critical in some of those early season wins. So he's been very decisive. He knows the offense that they want to run. I think he's gotten more comfortable in offensive coordinator Mike Yurcich's system. So I think that he's going to have an opportunity to have a big game, if Arkansas can't kind of get after him. So it'll be a good test, I think, for Arkansas's defensive line. I mean, I think that that's the unit that can probably take over this game and really derail Sean Clifford in a lot of ways.
Obviously, sometimes the perception of a program can be a little bit different locally as it is nationally. Here locally, everyone has loved what Arkansas has done and what Sam Pittman has done. What's kind of the perception been of the Razorbacks on a national scale?
Yeah, I think that the perception more than anything else is just how impressive it's been that Sam Pittman's been able to turn this around so quickly. I think that when you look at the team that Chad Morris left behind versus what they've done so far, it's just such a disciplined team, such a physical team. It looks like they really have a strategy and they know how to accomplish what they want to do. And I think that that's something that can take time. So for them to already, really even in year one, to have accomplished some of that and be able to keep building on it. For me, I was questioning a little bit what the ceiling is, right? I mean, that was my big question. Is this a team that's going to be kind of plucky and fun, or is this going to be a team that's pretty good? And I think that certainly Arkansas answered that question and showed that they have the ability to be competitive with most of the teams in the SEC West.
Thank you so much to Shehan for that interview, and stay tuned as we'll have more from Tampa after we come back after the break. We'll have to put the tail back in there. Just come from this way and I'll go.
It is just about game time. We've had such a fun week here at the Outback Bowl, but now it is time to get things started. Arkansas and Penn State kickoff 11 o'clock tomorrow from Raymond James Stadium, ESPN2. Tampa's the place to be for the first Arkansas Bowl game since 2016.
And not just any bowl game, the Outback Bowl. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have our photographer, our reporter, Ian, come out on there.
Saw great stories from him today.
That's right. And the Outback Bowl, there's the 2 appetizers, the bloomin' onion and the coconut shrimp. If Arkansas wins, I believe it's free bloomin' onions the day after if you go into Outback.
Yes.
And if Penn State wins, it's the coconut shrimp. So we're going to try them, and we're going to tell you
who should win based off
the
their
food.
appetizer.
I think
That's
I know
the
what it
only
should
way,
be,
right?
but here, let's see.
All right,
coconut shrimp first.
Doesn't look so.
It's all right.
Okay, not bad.
All right.
The bloomin' onion, that's the premier appetizer. Arkansas wins tomorrow. You get these at Outback. Thanks for watching the Rockin' Razorback special, everyone. 5 News at 4 starts right now, and we'll have full coverage tomorrow of Arkansas and Penn State in the Outback Bowl.